Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. Today, my partner Firas and I are going to dive into 5 crucial questions bridging conventional microeconomics with Islamic economics. We will cover everything from monopolies and market efficiencies to government intervention and the true meaning of a just price.
That's right, Farid. We'll be breaking down how this market structure actually affect human life and how both economics theory and Sharia frameworks try to keep things fair. Let's go into question 1.
Let's look at the Islamic perspective on monopolies. In classic Islamic jurisprudence, a modern market monopoly is closely tied to the concept of ihtikar, which translates to hoarding or stockpiling. Now, the Prophet Muhammad explicitly condemned this, stating in Sahih Muslim that whoever commits a monopoly or ihtihar has committed a wrong. From the perspective of Maqasid al-Sharia, the core goals of Islamic law, this is forbidden because it directly threatens the preservation of life and wealth by driving up prices artificially.
Exactly. But here is the fascinating twist for journalists. You can simply issue a blanket ruling saying all monopolies are haram. Why? Because a legal ruling look at harm and behavior, not just market shape. First, Islam does not punish a company for being the sole seller if they got their through superior innovation, better efficiency or honest trade. Structure isn't the sin. Exploitation is. The classical school of thought or mazhab actually differ on the what item trigger this prohibition. The Shafi'i and Hanbali school historically limited ihtikar to essential staple food. Meanwhile, the Hanafi and Maliki scholar expanded it to include anything what causes public harm, like clothing or service. So, owning a monopoly over a luxury item doesn't carry the same legal weight as hoarding food during a shortage. Finally, think about public utilities like water or electricity. Having one provider avoids massive resource waste if the state regulates it will to protect the public. It's not just permissible, but it's socially desirable.
Now let's pivot to conventional economic theory and look at the absolute opposite of a monopoly, a perfect competition. In a long-run equilibrium, a perfectly competitive firm operates under a strict mathematical harmony where price equals minimum average total cost, which also equals to marginal cost. Mathematically, is P equal minimum ATC equal MC. This equation is a holy grail of total economic efficiency. Firas, break down the first half for us.
Gladly. The first part is productive efficiency, represented by this tell us how a good is being made because a competitive market drive economy profit down to absolute zero. Firms are under intense pressure, they must use the best technology and combine input perfectly. If a firm produce even a fraction above that minimum average total cost point, they suffer losses and get wiped out. This guarantee are the society scarce resources are not being wasted during production.
The second half is allocative efficiency, where P equal MC. This focuses on what is being produced, matching society's exact preferences. Remember, price represents how much value a consumer places on the last unit of a good, while marginal cost is the opportunity cost of the resources used to build it. If price is greater than MC, society values the item more than the resources used to make it, meaning we are underproducing. If price is less than MC, we are wasting resources on something people don't highly value. When P equal MC, the balance is perfect. The sum of consumer and producer surplus is maximized. To summarize the big difference, productive efficiency is all about the technical method, producing things the cheapest way possible. Allocative efficiency is about the optimal configuration, making sure we are producing the exact combination of goods society actually wants.
So, how do firms escape that intense competition Farid just talked about? They rely on the barriers to entry. These are economic, legal, or technical hurdles that stop new competitor from entering an industry, allowing a few firms to hold major market power. Let's look at the four big ones. First, economies of scale. When long run average costs continuously drop as a firm get bigger, a single giant firm can price out any tiny newcomer. This create a natural monopoly. Second, we have legal or government barrier like patent and license. This give inventors exclusive right for a side time frame, completely locking out competition by law. Third, ownership of essential resource. If your company owns the only mine for a rare mineral, no one can build a competing product. And fourth, high startup costs. Industry like a commercial aircraft manufacturing or telecom require billions in upfront capital. This naturally keep the player count low, fostering an oligopoly.
But here's a critical question. Are all barriers bad? Not necessarily. Both conventional economic and Islamic jurisprudence agree that some barriers are socially justifiable. Take natural monopolies, like water pipelines or electricity grids. Imagine the chaotic waste of resources if 5 different companies dug up the same street to lay duplicate water pipes. A single monopoly provider, regulated closely by government price cap, serve the public interest much better. The same goes for patents. While they temporarily block competition, they protect high-risk research and development. Think about life-saving pharmaceutical. Is a company spend hundreds of millions inventing a cure, only for competitors to copy it instantly the next day, the financial motivation to innovate completely vanish. Patents protect the motivation for the greater good. This brings us directly to the role of the state. While classical economics love a hands-off, laissez-faire marketplace, real-world market failure demands regulatory oversight. In Islamic economics, this intervention is beautifully anchored in the historical institution of Hisbah. This was an administrative body tasked with promoting fair business ethics, commanding goods, and forbidding deceptive market behavior. Generally, there are 5 primary objectives when the government steps into the market. First, correcting market failures. Market fails when externalities exist. For example, a government might tax a polluting factory to offset its negative impact on residents, or subsidize vaccination because they benefit the entire community.
Second, government step in to prevent monopolistic exploitation and ihtikar. Left completely unchecked, powerful cartel might engage in predatory pricing or artificial hoarding. Antitrust legislation and consumer protection law break up this cartel and protect regular citizens. Third, providing public goods. Things about street lighting or national defense, these goods are non-excludable and non-rivalrous, meaning private firms can easily charge individuals to use them because there are no direct profit loops. The free market will under-provide them. The government must step in to finance them through public taxation.
Fourth is ensuring socio-economic justice and wealth redistribution. Unregulated markets can widen the gap between the ultra-rich and the poor. Government bridge this gap through progressive taxation and welfare programs. In an Islamic framework, this is systematically managed through the collection and distribution of zakat, ensuring basic human needs are met across all layers of society. Finally, fifth, is stabilizing the macroeconomy. Government use fiscal policy, meaning taxes and spending, alongside monetary policy to curb hyperinflation, tackle unemployment, and smooth out painful economic crashes.
Our final question deals with a profound philosophical and practical issue. Does the market equilibrium price automatically reflect a just price? Conventional economics say yes, assuming that if supply meets demand, it's inherently efficient. But as we learn, efficiency does not automatically equal justice. From an Islamic perspective, an equilibrium price is only just if the underlying market conditions are completely free from manipulation, fraud, and concession. The legendary classical scholar Ibn Taymiyyah conceptualized the just price as the true value equivalent established when transactions are carried out safely by honest trader without structural distortion.
This is deeply rooted in prophetic tradition. During a period of high prices in Medina, the companions asked the Prophet Muhammad to enforce price fixing. He declined, saying, Allah is the one who determines the price, who takes and gives, and He is the provider. This teaches us that under ordinary, non-manipulated conditions, a natural shift in equilibrium, like a food shortage caused by a drought, is fundamentally just because it respects the natural laws of supplies and demand and preserve the mutual consent of both buyers and sellers.
Exactly. On the flip side, an equilibrium price is unjust if it is born from human distortion. This happens during information asymmetries where a seller exploits a buyer ignorance to overcharge them. It happens through collusion and hoarding where supply is artificially strangled to force price up, or through fraud like misrepresenting product quality. Therefore, the market equilibrium is a necessary starting point, but it isn't enough on its own. A price is only truly just when the competitive process itself is moral, transparent, and equitable. When a human manipulation breaks that fairness, state intervention is just an economic option. It's become a legal necessity to restore justice.
That wraps up our deep dive into these 5 vital questions. We hope this presentation highlighted how conventional economic mechanics can be beautifully refined and balanced when viewed through the moral lens of Islamic jurisprudence.
Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our analysis. We welcome any question you have in the discussion below. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.